Welcome back into the Sports Source, this segment of our fantasy draft here today. Brought to you by Calhoun's. And as football season nears, there will be a lot of you planning tailgates for UT games, for high school games. Make sure part of your plan for a tailgate includes a Calhoun's Feed 5 or Feed 10 family pack. It looks like there's something in there moving. Yeah. It's like, whoa, what's there? Instead, what you get when you get down there is plenty of good food that's in there. Barbecue or ribs, they do it either way. So when you're going to the tailgate, make sure that Calhoun's provides your food. It's a tremendous way to tailgate this fall and this summer. High school football is going to be right around the corner. Before we blink, it'll be high school football season. Okay, we've already drafted quarterbacks and running backs, and we'll run through that in a second, who did what. But we start back down there with Chuck. He's the high man in this one, so you're going to do receivers and tight ends, and let's show who's on the board. All right, we figured let's put tight ends in here too. So Brad Cottom was a third-round pick. He's in there. Corey Fleming, a forgotten great from the early 90s. Justin Hunter, Joey Kent, tremendous Tennessee career. Robert Meacham, Marcus Nash, one of Manning's favorite targets. Cordell Patterson, his one Comet-like year here. Peerless Price, Michael Rivera, Dante Stallworth, who was on our show last year, Kelly Washington, and Jason Witten. Okay, now if you take a tight end, you're taking a tight end instead of a receiver. Chuck Cavaleris.
Well, you look at some of those names and you can see why, there was the span that continued at wide receiver but who's the career leader at Tennessee in receptions and touchdown catches? Who did Peyton Manning want to get the ball to? I got to go with Joey Kent.
Pretty good pick. If you're pairing him with Peyton Manning, that makes sense on paper. Joey Kent. Okay. So then we got Mike Strange.
Well, I feel like I got a gift there that Peerless Price has fallen into my lap. I'm going with Peerless.
Wow. Now, the Mike Strange team is looking pretty good, folks. Heath Schuler, Travis Henry, Peerless Price. So
the Jimmies and Joes are looking good. We don't know about that. X's and O's.
All right, Mike Griffith, who you got to go with Josh Dobbs and Jamal Lewis?
Well, one thing that we learned about Tennessee football last year is you've got to have competitive depth. And if something were to happen to Josh Dobbs, I need a guy that could back him up. So I'm going with Kelly Washington. People forget Kelly Washington threw for a touchdown, caught a touchdown, and ran a touchdown in an orange and white game. Just think in today's game, what type of quarterback Kelly Washington could be.
Kelly Washington.
The future.
He is the future. You just hope he doesn't attitude the team to death.
we got good leadership on this team. We're good.
Yeah, we'll have to see about the good leadership. All right.
I see problems.
Bob Hodge, who are you going with the fourth pick of the receiver? Tennessee since 1992, last 25 years.
I think Dante Stallworth. Kind of a forgotten guy around UT a little bit because he didn't leave with records. He didn't throw for touchdowns and run for touchdowns and do all those things. Just a really good receiver, carried it over to the NFL.
Return man.
So, yep. I think it makes sense for me.
Okay, Dante Stallworth. So the receivers
I've got all good athletes. Like some of my
Casey loved him.
Joey Kent, Peerless Price, Kelly Washington, and then Dante Stallworth. So nobody takes Jason Witten.
I was going to go with him at 2. If Chuck took Peerless, I was going Jason Witten at 2.
Okay. Some good guys didn't get picked.
Tennessee pretty much had nothing but Jason Witten in 2003 after Kelly got hurt, and that didn't work out too well.
All right, let's take a look now at the offensive linemen. This is tough. Look at how many greats have come through here. And another interesting thing is look how many of these greats had the number 90s somewhere in there. More 90s than 2000s on all these lists. Chad Clifton, Cozy Coleman, Jawan James, Jason Lehman, Kevin Mays, Bubba Miller, who was actually on our first season of the show. He was one of our regular analysts, Bubba Miller. Michael Munoz, Will Offenhusel, Anthony Parker, Antonio Tiny Richardson, Aaron Sears, Jeff Smith, Mike Stoll, who's on our show and will be joining us here in a couple of weeks for our All VFL show. Trey Teague, Dallas Thomas, Fred Weary, Scott Wells. Looking at these guys' stats and numbers, I'd forgotten how many great guys there were. Who is the best offensive lineman out of that bunch, Bob Hodge?
Well, first I got to tell you who I eliminated was Scott Wells.
Quickly.
Okay.
Packers.
Yeah, Packers. You got a connection to the Packers. Forget it. I'm going to go Cozy Coleman.
That's probably where I would have gone
probably
to.
as good a lineman as Tennessee's ever had, so I'll go Cozy Coleman.
Yeah, Cozy Coleman had a tremendous career here. All-American, All-SEC first team, and a NFL first 3-round
Can I go back
guy.
to the Packer thing now?
No, we don't have time. Mike Griffith, quickly, what do you got?
Chad Clifton.
Yes.
Chad Clifton, another great. Hard to go wrong with any of these.
Going after all the ones I've got circled.
Hard to go wrong with any of these. All right, Mike Strange.
I'm going to take the guy out of there that won the Jacobs blocking trophy, Aaron Sears.
Aaron Sears.
Yes. He played 4 different
From
positions.
2003 to 2006, who you got, Chuck?
I'm going to
Last
go
one.
with Fred Weary.
Yeah.
I mean, he had that nasty streak, and he's one of the best I've ever seen Tennessee or anywhere else.
That's actually the 4 I expected to be taken.
Is it?
I thought Scott Wells might sneak his way in there, but not by Bob. But
Yeah.
those are the 4 that I expected to go, and I think that's good calls all along.
Boy, you could
because
go
if
back
I would have
through and
drafted
still-
them, then you're right.
You could go back through and still get good guys.
Yeah, that's so many good
Fantastic
offensive
guys.
linemen at Tennessee, especially there in the 90s. Okay, when we come back, we're going to take a look on the defensive side of the ball. Some of the names you might not have thought of in a long time. When we went through this list, it kind of reminded me of some of the talent through here. Maybe they can get to where they've got this kind of talent again. Come on back on the Sports Source.